DP Photography here, bringing you another video from the Casa today. Today we're going to be talking about Photography 101, foundations, the basics, what you need to know to get up and running, just to get started, you know, when you first get out there. Because I know when I first started photography, I went looking for help. You know, I asked a lot of different people like what I needed to know, and I didn't feel like I got those answers, so it kind of made me feel a certain kind of way. And for a while I didn't use my camera. I let my camera just sit there and collect dust. But you know, something lit a fire underneath my ass. Eventually I was motivated to get out there and learn. I've been thinking about doing a video like this for a while. People say that I shouldn't do it, you know, they feel like, oh, I'm giving away the secrets, and I'm sure there'll be some people that'll be upset with me out there for doing what I'm doing. But hey, you know, I feel like nobody can be you. You know, you are you. Everybody's photos and videos will be different no matter what, because you is inside of your, you know what I mean? You kind of get what I'm trying to say. But so yeah, let's get into it. Photography 101, DP Photography 101. Basics. I say the basics because there's so much more to photography that you can learn. I still learn every single day. Every time I go out and I shoot, I learn, and it's fun. And when I say all of this, just know that I didn't go to school for photography, so I'm no expert or anything like that, but I have done a lot of research, and I do know how to take a photo. I haven't been doing this for that long. Maybe I'm going into my 4th year, I believe. So everything that I learned, I've either learned through trial and error or just looking up, researching things on YouTube. So I could be wrong on some things, but I'm just, you know, this is not like a formal video or anything like that. But when I first started photography, you know, I had a lot of people that I reached out to, and you know, I just wanted help. I was just looking for help. And what you got to understand is that this is people's livelihood. They're not just going to go out there and volunteer information for you to come and steal business from them. And you know, yeah, you might not be looking at it like that, but that's the way people look at things. And you have to understand that this is the real world. People have bills to pay, so you can't get upset. What you can do is get a fuel up under your ass and go out there and find the information for yourself. A lot of people have told me not to do things like this. They don't, you know, some photographers probably would be upset that I'm making a video like this because they feel like you shouldn't give away the game. But I feel like, you know, everybody has their own creative niches. So as long as you are authentic with yourself, then nobody can be you, you know, and you just create magic. So let's just get into it. There's 3 things you want to know about photography: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. These 3 things, when you move one, you have to move another to compensate for the other one. So let's say my aperture is f4, my shutter speed is 5/100th of a second, and my ISO is at 100. If I move my shutter speed up to 800, then I want to open my aperture up to f5. You kind of get it? No, it's kind of confusing. Shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. Those are the 3 things that you want to learn about. I'm not going to tell you everything here. When we get done, instead of Facebooking or whatever you guys are doing, just go ahead and research those 3 words: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. And those are going to give you the basics for photography. Now, you want that blur effect. Like, people nowadays, that's what they want. That's what they look for in those portraits. They want beautiful blur effect. They want to have something in focus and everything else behind it out of focus. And what that is a shallow depth of field. And that deals with aperture. I relate aperture to the eye, because if you squeeze down your eye to look at something, you're going to focus in on that one thing, and everything else around it is going to be like a big blur, right? It's the same thing when it comes to these lenses. If you close down the aperture to 1.4, whatever is in that space, whatever is in that 1.4 space, it's like a bubble. Think of it like that. Think of it as like the focus is in a bubble, and the bigger the aperture, the bigger that bubble is going to get. So if my aperture is 1.4, then my head is going to be the only thing that's in that bubble. If my aperture is 2.4, then maybe my upper torso and head are in focus in the picture. If I put it up to f4, maybe my whole body is in focus. You understand what I'm saying? You kind of understand? And that's what aperture is. The next thing would be shutter speed. Shutter speed has to deal with moving objects such as cars going by, people playing sports. So I would shoot the football and you could see the football dragging in the picture. That was because my shutter speed was low. I had to shoot at maybe 500 of a shutter speed or 640. Now, if I was doing like portraits or something like that, then I could do a 30th of a second or like a third of a second. You think of it like that. I'm breaking everything down like how it would have been easy for me to learn. So if it's something moving fast, then you want a high shutter speed. If it's something moving slow, then you want a low shutter speed. It's fine. ISO is going to be the last thing that you want to touch. ISO is the sensitivity to the sensor of light. You want to keep it as low as possible because the more you bump up the ISO, the more grain you'll introduce into the picture. You'll start to see noise. You really only want to use your ISO if necessary. Real dark situation, and it kind of depends on how good of a camera you have, how far you can actually push that ISO. But ISO is what you use to bump up the brightness. And once you play with these things, you'll see everything that I'm talking about. Easy way to play with these things would be to take some photos in auto, look at your settings, take those same settings into manual, and then start to move things around the way I told you. I'm not gonna get too deep into it. Thank you guys for watching. This is DP Photography again. Have a great day. Have a blessed day out there. And if you got a camera, get out there and use it. I know a lot of you guys got cameras, they're sitting on the shelf catching dust. That's the wrong thing to do with it. If you're not gonna use the camera, then go ahead and sell it. Because all it's doing is getting outdated. You know, more and more stuff is coming out, and if you want to get back into it, you start at a later date. That's all I got to say for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm DP Photography. I'm out.